Hello everyone, Luke here. Welcome to another My Team video. Only 5 races left in Minardi's first season back in Formula 1, and it is time for the Suzuka circuit, one of the most historic circuits on the calendar, the Japanese Grand Prix. Hopefully we'll be able to carry on with our run of points. Unsurprisingly, in Russia we didn't do quite as well as we did in Singapore, and I think it'll be a long time before we have a race like that again. Did pick up a couple of points though for 9th place, means we stay in 7th in the Drivers' Championship. Need to be careful to watch over my shoulder. Wouldn't surprise me if Ocon and Perez and possibly even Stroll and Ricciardo come up towards the end of the season. We're 6th in the Constructors' Championship, and I do think we have a good chance of staying there, seeing as McLaren seem to be struggling and Alfa Romeo and Alfa Tauri are quite a way behind us. But for now, let's get qualifying underway. We will be taking a grid penalty at this race for using our 3rd set of control electronics, as I don't think the 2nd set will get us to the end of the season in any decent condition. So qualifying position not going to be too important here. It's all going to be about how we do in the race. There it is then, confirmed, the 10th place grid penalty for using our 3rd set of control electronics over the season. Running a bit wide there into turn 1, see if I can bring it through into turn 2. What that does mean is we're almost guaranteed, given our previous qualifying form, to be starting from the back of the grid unless some other drivers have penalties as well. So this lap really not too important. If we get in the top 10 obviously, which has never happened this season, if we somehow manage that, we will still have to start on these older soft tyres. So ideally definitely do not want to be in the top 10, as I'm kicking up a lot of dust on the exit of the 2nd Degner there. So easy to get it wrong, and this being an old school circuit, there isn't nice grass and AstroTurf runoff areas at some places and tarmac. It is old-fashioned gravel that meets you if you get it wrong. Down in 19th at the moment. Been a bit of a struggle this qualifying lap. In practice we didn't really look over one lap as though we had a lot of pace. Weren't too bad over multiple laps. So let's see what we can do now. Heading up the hill over the crossover, the only figure 8 circuit used in Formula 1 Suzuka. 130R, not the challenge that it used to be, and then heavy braking for the chicane to end the lap. This is where you will see most of the overtaking, I feel. Again, just running a bit wide out of the final corner. We are going to be down in 19th place, one of our worst qualifyings for a while. Won't make a difference though, seeing as we will be starting from the back of the grid.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Hamilton, Bottas and Charles Leclerc. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
I mean, you can see they're only just managing to beat Nick by, what, 49 thousandths of a second, and about a full second off Lance Stroll. This might be a bit of a struggle at the race. We will be starting from the back. Ricciardo, our rival, starting in 13th place. Again, another great qualifying from Kvyat in the Alfa Tauri. That is it for us for qualifying. At least we don't have to worry about running out of fresh control electronics, because we can use those for the rest of the season. So they'll be nice and fresh. How high can we get up in this Japanese Grand Prix? We'll be starting from the back. Getting points might take a minor miracle.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Ise Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure of 8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here, as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula 1 calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. Anthony Davidson is with me once again to take you through today's action, and we have plenty of twists and turns to come over the next hour or so, I'm sure.
Yeah, we can see Lewis down there on pole position, something he's very used to, of course, but he'll have to get his elbows out to maintain that into the first corner. Besides that, of course, any kind of turn 1 incident could completely turn the race on its head. Let's keep our fingers crossed everyone can get through in one piece.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Perez, Vettel, Ocon, Sainz, and Lando Norris, Gasly, Ricciardo, Kimi Raikkonen, and Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Grosjean, Daniel Kvyat. They've taken a grid penalty, and Nick de Vries, Russell, Latifi, Stroll, and the owner-driver rounds off the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Time for the race then, where we will be starting from last place on the grid. Stroll alongside us has a penalty. Kvyat, not too far ahead, has a penalty as well. So there are a few of us who will be hoping to make our way through the field. And the strategy I'm hoping to do that with is the one at the bottom there. 15 laps on the hard tyres, 12 laps on the mediums. I didn't really enjoy the softs in practice, so even though the game says it will be faster, I'm not so sure. I do want to avoid using those soft tyres, and doing a few more on the hards might make the mediums nice and fresh towards the end of the race. So let's see how it's going to go. Will be a big ask for us to get any points today, but I'm going to give it my all. Underway then, we haven't really got the grip off the start line on these hard tyres to do a lot. Can we go around the outside of anyone through turn 1 and into turn 2? Still sort of trying to just hang along the side of Lance Stroll there, but as we said, hard tyres, no grip whatsoever, so not the best start for us at the moment. Just need to really hang with these faster guys at the start of the race. Hopefully the Williams won't hold us up too much, because I think that midfield battle, apart from the Williams drivers at the moment, is incredibly exciting. Pretty much any of us could get some good points in this race, so
we've held position on lap 1. That's not great, but it's not terrible. Stay focused.
Hopefully we'll see a lot of overtaking later on in the race as we're trying to go down the inside of a couple of cars here. Us and Stroll side by side on the exit. Yellow flags just scuppering my plans ever so slightly to try and stay ahead of Stroll and Russell as well, but it does look like everyone's got through the first lap cleanly. Nick still in 18th place at the moment, gaining obviously because us and Stroll had some penalties. Can we use our ERS then down this straight? It looks like Stroll's trying to have a go at Russell early on, and I wonder if that will just compromise for Williams ever so slightly heading into the chicane. No, Russell's still fighting with Lance Stroll, so if I'm clever, I might be able to take advantage of this on the exit of the chicane using our ERS to gain ourselves a position finally at the end of lap 1. We've moved up into 21st place.
You up a place.
Now it's all about playing the long game again on these harder tyres, just trying to keep with the drivers in front because they will all be quicker than me at the moment. Use everything coming out of the final corner.
Our teammate by 2.8 seconds.
Try and get alongside and through on the Williams of Nicholas Latifi. So that is up into 20th position. Good job that I did that, because as you can already see, the rest of the field seem to be escaping. Oh, big crash.
Okay, clear.
Ahead of me there, Stroll's gone into the wall. Somehow he's able to continue, so that has gained us a position that I wasn't really expecting. Can we use our DRS and our ERS and our extra fuel here to make our way past our teammate and Kevin Magnussen? Because it does look as though Magnussen might be a bit of a sitting duck here. Can we go around the outside of Nick into turn 1? Fantastic move, if I do say so myself. That is another 3 places gained in the space of about 3 corners there. We're now into 17th. Some of the front runners are starting to come into the pits. That bumps us up into 11th. That might hinder me ever so slightly, because there was a big queue of cars up ahead. A lot of drivers were starting to get held up. You can see we're catching up to Grosjean as well. He'll be going a bit longer because he's on the medium tyres. were dragging Nick along with us as well, but I think his soft tyres have finally seen their best on this last lap. Well, let's see how quickly we can dispatch Grosjean then, and then it'll all be about hanging on until our first pit stop. Grosjean's really slowed down then for some reason. Has he got a mechanical problem? That caught me by surprise, but that's another place gained. Up into the points. Ricciardo, the last of the soft runners then, to make his one and only scheduled pit stop. That puts us into 5th position at the moment, behind both the Mercedes, Verstappen and Leclerc. I think we'll be pitting at the end of next lap. These hards do feel a bit more worn now, don't feel too bad though, so hopefully the mediums will be nice and fresh until the end of their stint. Vettel will be pleased to see us dive into the pits then. We were in 5th position before that pit stop. I think we're going to drop down to about 16th, 17th place. It's not really the longest pit lane here, but a lot of drivers will have done the undercut on us.
Exit
Decent pit stop from the boys, and you can see there Giovinazzi is in 16th position.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
There we go, we have come out then in 16th place. Didn't do a lot of running in practice on these tyres because it rained for quite a lot of the practice sessions, so we'll see how I can do on them. It's going to be a big ask to get up into the points. I've just set my fastest lap of the race and Kvyat and Giovinazzi are still pulling away from me. I've just got no pace around here all of a sudden. I'm pushing like mad. I can't see me finishing any higher than where I am now, and that is not ideal whatsoever. I'm even slightly worried that if Stroll gets ahead of De Vries, he could be putting me under pressure by the end of the race. Five laps to go, just done my fastest lap of the race. I'm now 6 seconds behind Giovinazzi. No hope whatsoever of catching them up. These tyres seem to be absolutely cooked by the time we finished this first sector, which is completely understandable really. You can just see the temperatures creeping up as we go round, so I can't see me improving on where I am. I think 16th is just our performance today.
This is your final lap of the race.
Final lap, 9.5 seconds behind Giovinazzi. I have been on my own for this entire second stint, just struggling to try and keep up with those ahead, which has failed miserably. Unfortunately for Nick, Lance Stroll managed to get ahead of him as well, a couple of laps to go. Good news for me at least is that he held him up, because you can see Stroll's really pulled out a gap, and I reckon it'll be within a second by the end of this lap, so don't make any mistakes to let that racing point through. But this is going to be, I think, our worst finish of the season, maybe apart from Australia and maybe Silverstone as well. I've just had no pace whatsoever. I definitely didn't get the strategy right. I probably should have done the soft mediums or mediums to soft and maybe had a bit more pace, because I don't know, it just hasn't worked for whatever reason. And practice felt good. Practice felt good here, and I've been absolutely dreadful. In Singapore, practice was shocking, and I went on to win the race, so I really don't get how inconsistent it is. And you can see here, Stroll's going to be pretty close to having a go at me in the final corner.
In front is 11.1 seconds.
Just using that bit of extra fuel. I really haven't bothered using it because I've not been showing any pace, so I thought I might as well just try and finish the race. Here we go, 16th place, not good at all.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
I've no idea how I've got driver of the day yet there. Yes, I came from the back, but 16th place, like I said, not good.
Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Let's have a quick look at how the driver's standings have changed. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
I'm going to give it to the owner-driver today. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, AlphaTauri's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
McLaren have closed in to within 7 points of us. Ocon has closed in to within 7 points of me, and you can just see way down there, 16th place we were, 17th Lance Stroll, 18th Nick De Vries. Just not good whatsoever. I mean, only the Williams had a slower fastest lap than me. I just didn't have, for whatever reason, I just had no pace around here after the practice sessions, which is a bit weird because, like I mentioned, I'm usually slower in practice with the old engine parts that I'm having to use. At least we got to the end of the race, didn't really make too many major mistakes. We did get driver of the day, but we don't get anything for that. Now I've got to speak to Claire.
How's your grid penalty going to affect your strategy going into the race?
Like, I'm not even answering that because the race is already over. Next question.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
I just pushed as hard as I could because that's the only thing I could do.
You, didn't we? Was today a good day for you?
I'm not happy. It was disastrous.
Appreciate your time.
At least that Grand Prix is over. At least we got to the end. That's all I can say, really, about that, is that I don't have to do it again, because it looks like we're going to struggle at there forever. Maybe a bit like Silverstone. Ricciardo now creeps ahead in the rivalry. Not moving up any acclaim level at the moment, and I don't think we'll have met any of our objectives, apart from the one for doing the amount of laps throughout the weekend. So that's the only bonus money we can get. So our coffers won't be as full as we would like them to be, and getting a bit of a deduction for damage as well. Had a few spins, to say the least, in practice, and came close to spinning a few times in the race. But it's over, we move on, we try and do better. We've shown at some tracks that we've had really good pace. I mean, Monaco are top 5, Singapore obviously winning, Belgium we finished 6th. I think we managed to get a 6th place somewhere else as well during the season, so we've not done too bad at some tracks. It's just others like Silverstone and Suzuka, those high downforce ones, really don't seem to sort the car out. Really don't seem to suit the car, I should say.
This week's income from the sponsors is cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Well, that's pretty much it then for this video. We're done. That race is over. America next, just 4 races to go, and then our first season will come to an end, hopefully. Suzuka will be our worst performance for a while, and we'll be able to pick up some more points because we really need to carry on going to finish ahead of McLaren in the Constructors. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time around.